Hi, I'm Michelle Spohr. Welcome to Mindful Movement Yoga. Today's class is dedicated to the thoracic spine, or the middle spine of our bodies. And in this space, we are going to create movement and freedom. We're going to work on creating openness so we have better quality breath, a little bit of strength, and mobility as well. So as per usual, we'll need a couple of props. Go ahead and grab yourself a blanket or a large bath towel, or two of them, and a yoga block or two would be especially helpful here. And then also paying attention to your body. If there's a movement or something in particular that doesn't work for you, please feel free to adjust along the way. So let's begin. Go ahead and sit cross-legged on that blanket or bath towel. And sit nice and tall, lengthening through the crown of the head and rocking maybe a little bit side to side, forward and back, a couple of times there. And then begin to take that into a less range of motion until you find a little bit of centeredness in your pelvis and spine. From here, relax the jaw, gently drop the gaze down, perhaps even closing the eyes. Take a comfortable breath now through your nose. Begin to observe your breath at the chest bone, noticing the subtlety, the rise and fall of your breath. And then perhaps move your breath awareness to your upper back. So as you inhale, noticing the subtle expansion in the upper back. And as you exhale, a great release there, a nice exhalation. Inhale again, noticing the space in between the shoulder blades, and exhale. And then in this seated awareness practice, I'd like to have you direct your attention, if you will, to the space inside your armpits or underneath your upper arm bones. And as you inhale, expanding sideways here. And then exhale, noticing again the subtle depression. One more full breath in. And exhale. Feel free to draw the palms together at the heart, tuck the chin and bow the head. Slowly blink your eyes open, lift the head and gaze, and release your palms. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the sides and up, and exhale, turn the palms out, really reaching the arms as we move along. Inhale, big breath in. And exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reach up, turning to your left. Exhale, lower the hands down. And we're pausing here in this twist. So one hand to the opposite knee in front of you, the other hand, maybe the fingertips to the floor, just behind your sacrum or tailbone. Keeping both sides of the pelvis grounded here. Start to sweep up that back arm, so your left arm, as you side bend over that right thigh, grounding down through the left side seat. And then feel and experience the breath here in the side of your body. And then turn the chest forward and lower the arm down. So now you have crisscross arms with the left arm on top. Round the spine. And really breathing in between the shoulders here. One more breath like this with the spine rounded, tailbone forward, crown of the head forward, belly drawing in. And then elevate the spine, so neutral there, and then lift the arms, keeping the crisscross arms here. And either catching hold of the shoulders, or you can find your eagle arms by drawing the forearms toward each other, perhaps placing the palms together. Inhale to lift the chest and lift the elbows. And then exhale, round the spine and lower the elbows. Let's do that twice more. So starting off nice and slowly here, working with our breath and opening up parts of our back of shoulder and upper back. And then release. Take a moment there, roll the shoulders back a few times. And then inhale here, sweep the arms up again, and exhale, turn the chest and ribs to your right and lower the hands down. Again, front hand to one knee and the other hand behind you. Inhale here to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, we'll find that side bend with a reach. So reaching the right arm up and over the ear, still grounding the right seat down, side bending over the left thigh. And then feel the expansion here in the side ribs. And then turning the chest forward, lower the hand down, crisscross arms and round the spine. Really drawing in around the waist, drawing the belly toward the spine. And notice the freedom of breath here in the back, the nice release in the shoulders. And then lengthen the spine, and we'll find our eagle arms again. So feel free to keep the elbows nice and tight with the hands to shoulders, or finding your eagle arms. Inhale, lift the elbows up as you reach the chest up, maybe tipping the tailbone back. And then exhale, round the spine, lowering the elbows, tailbone forward, head forward. Doing that twice more on your own. And just finding a nice pattern here, establishing a nice cadence with the breath. And one more, round the spine, drawing everything in. And then releasing the arms. And take a moment here to breathe. Notice the effects of already what we've done on the body. So from here, we're coming into a myofascial release work in between the ribs. So there's the ribs, and then there's connective tissue and musculature in between the ribs that keeps them together and then has the ability to expand as we inhale and contract a little or reduce in range as we exhale. So we're actually going to be working that soft tissue in between the ribs. So I'd like for you to take your left two fingers, first two fingers of your left hand, and take it to the side ribs here on the right side. And just taking those fingers and finding a space in between two ribs, it could be one or two fingers. And once you've found that space, just push in toward the spine, nice and moderate pressure, nothing intense, and then push it back in space. And then from here, I'd like for you to inhale with that pressure in between the ribs. Inhale, lean to the side, and then exhale, upright the spine. Okay, so now you're gonna go one rung down or one rung up. So I'm gonna work up. So find another space in between the ribs, pushing in center toward the spine, and then back in space. Holding that pressure, inhale, lean away. And exhale, tipping the spine upright. Go ahead and work down or up the spine or the rib cage a few more times just like that with that pressure in and back. Inhale to lean. Exhale to tip the spine upright. And if you're working further up, you'll notice the ribs are a little bit closer together and they may be a little bit harder to find the space in between the ribs, and that's fine. So a few more on your own, just noticing any spaces there you'd like to work with. And as you inhale and hold that pressure, feel the expansion of your lungs. And finding one more space here. And then release. And then just notice for a moment what it feels like to bring awareness, bring a little pressure into those tissues. So let's move on to the second side. Taking now your left hand, or your right hand, to your left side ribs. Finding the space in between two ribs. Pushing in toward your center and then back in space, holding that. And lean away, and as you do, inhale here. And then exhale, tip the spine upright. And then go down or up. Same thing, in and back. Inhale to lean. And exhale, upright the spine. And just keep working your way down or up, or both down and up. So I like this part of the ribs, working with the ribs here, finding this release. Because they tend to get a little sticky here, especially in the upper rib region. And we're working with the thoracic spine today, which is connected to this part of our ribs. It's connected to our ribs, the thoracic is. Okay, go ahead and find one more spot here. And then release that. And take a moment there just to feel the effects of that on the body. So from here, I'd like for you to take your hands behind you. We're going to do a little bit of active opening of the chest. So draw the arms behind you and straighten the elbows, any amount here. And then hugging the ribs in, so making sure we're not leaning back or finding a back bend. It's just drawing the arms back. And then bending the elbows here, maybe the fingers point down. Draw the elbows toward each other and lift the chest. Take a breath here. And then either bringing the palms to the lower back and hugging the elbows in, or connecting the fingers together and drawing the elbows toward each other. Take a few breaths here, noticing now the front tissues of the upper chest. Also noticing the side ribs there that we just released. One more breath here. And then release the arms. From here, go ahead and bring your arms like a cactus or like goalpost. Inhale to lift the chest and pull the elbows back. And then exhale, round the spine, reach the arms forward. Taking that a few times here. Inhale to expand the chest. Exhale to reach forward and round. And last time. And then upright the spine. Bring the hands now where the palms are facing down, elbows are bent, forearms parallel to the ground. We're taking a twist here, and it's going to be repetitive movements. So just start to turn and turn. You're leaving your hips nice and grounded. You're leaving the sits bones grounded. And you're starting to move the rib cage, starting to move the chest side to side in an alternating fashion. So staying here, or you can add a little bit of a forceful exhale through the nose with every twist. So it'd sound like this. Including an inhale in between each exhale. So you can try that a few times. We're staying here just for a few more repetitions, loosening up the spine a little bit, bringing a little bit of awareness and core stability as we move along. So repeating that breath work if you'd like to, or staying here just for a few more moments. Two more, one more each side. And then come back to center and release that. Let's go ahead and take downward facing dog from here. So you can move your blanket off to the side. On hands and knees, arms are forward and straight. You're spreading the fingers wide and wrapping the armpits down. And then go ahead and start to elevate the knees away from the floor and lift the thigh bones up, lifting the seat up, making sort of a mountain shape with the body. Allow the heels to lower. The knees can stay bent if that helps to make your spine feel nice and long. And then let the head hang here for a moment. Relaxing the jaw, aware of the breath, aware of our bodies. One more breath just like this. And then go ahead and lower to the knees. Inhale to find that cow-like spine, lowering the abdomen, lifting the chest. And then exhale to round the spine. Go ahead and sit back, toes together, knees wide, and reach the arms forward. Take a moment here to breathe. And then start to walk the hands, lifting the head, walk the hands off to your left. Keep the hips heavy. And then grounding down. Side bend, breath here in child's pose. And again, noticing that area that we just released, the side ribs. And then slowly lift the head and walking the hands off to your right and lowering the head down. 2 breaths. Nice and expansive here in the side body. Nice and grounded here with our child's pose. Lifting the head, coming back to center. And this time we'll come back to our hands and knees, lower the abdomen, lift the tailbone, and lift the chest. And walk the hands forward, keeping this cow-like spine, finding a little bit of chaturanga in the upper body. So you bend the elbows come straight back, and then lower the chest down, maybe the chin. So we're in knees, chest, chin. And then lower the abdomen down. Uncurl the toes, ground the legs, and lift the chest. Take a breath here in low cobra. One more breath. And then lower down just for a moment. Push the floor away, coming back to your hands and to your knees and round the spine, drifting back, finding child's pose again. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, coming back to hands and knees, finding that cow spine here. We're doing knees, chest, chin again, or any variation that will bring you to the ground. And then lowering the abdomen, uncurl the toes, palms press down, finding low or high cobra here. And then coming back to hands and knees, round the spine, and child's pose. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, finding cow spine. Exhale, lowering to the floor. Inhale, cobra pose, or any back bend that you'd like. And then exhale, round the spine and coming into child's. And then elevating here onto our knees. If you'd like to take a blanket under one knee for low lunge, now's your chance. Go ahead and pad your knee here. Stepping the left leg forward, we're coming into low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So grounding down through the front foot, the left hip is pulling back in space, so it's not loose here. We're firming up the hip, so drawing it in toward the midline. And then inhale to lift and reach the arms up, maybe lifting the chest, drawing the abdomen in as you do so. And then exhale, finding your way back to child's balasana. So sitting back on the heels. Inhale here. Exhale, child's. Inhale, coming back to hands and knees, and we'll step the right leg forward for low lunge. So grounding firmly down with the entire foot here, sliding the hips forward, yet hugging that right hip back in space. Feel free to reach the arms, opening the chest, opening the armpits, and then exhale, finding child's pose. Or any resting posture you would like here. Now this is where we'll need a block, so go ahead and lift up to your knees. Step the left leg forward and hopefully your block is within reach here. Set the block just to the left of your hip. And then inhale, lift and reach the arms, finding low lunge again. And then exhale, side bend. So lower the left hand down to the blocks or your left finger. And then reach the arm up and over. So we're doing a side bend now, side flexion. Holding this posture here for one more breath. And then release, so stacking the spine and draw the hands to the heart. Inhale here, long spine, shoulders over hips, and then exhale, taking a twist that's nice and active. Reach the arms if you'd like to, breath in. And exhale, release the twist. Child's pose or downward facing dog from here. And also moving your block to the right side of your mat, just outside of the mat. We'll take low lunge again with the right foot forward this time. Inhale, same position here, same firming of the hips, reaching up if you'd like. And then exhale, side bending now off to the right. So right fingers or hand to the block, and then reaching the left arm up and over, lateral flexion. So I feel a lot of opening here in this front hip, lower abdomen. So that's one area you may feel it. Could be different for you, which is absolutely terrific. Inhale, stack the spines, reach the arms up, and then exhale, hands to the heart, twisting over to the right now. Perhaps reaching the arms out wide. One more breath here. And exhale, release. So child's pose or downward facing dog. Finding a resting posture here. And then step any leg forward and turn to the long edge of your mat and come to a wide-legged stand. So you're facing the long edge of your mat and toes are pointed forward. Inhale, lift the chest, maybe reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold here with this wide-legged position. Inhale, come halfway up with the spine and lengthen your spine. And then exhale, folding to your degree. Any arm variation could do here. So palms could be down, elbows hugging in, or you could hold forearms or holding the legs here. We're staying here for a few breaths, finding our inversion, trying to find a sense of evenness on the legs here. So not too heavy in the heels, not too heavy in the toes, right in the middle somewhere. And then pushing the thigh bones back. And then let the head, the neck, the jaw relax. And then bringing the spine up halfway again. And this is where you could take a block underneath your hand. So we're grounding down one hand just underneath the gaze. So instead of out to the side, it's coming more midline. And press that hand down and then turn away from that hand. So right now I currently have my left hand down and I'm turning my chest to the right. So it could be different for you. Could be the opposite. So option if you'd like to elevate the arm. Otherwise, the top arm hand can just rest at the hip. So we're finding another twist or rotation here, finding that fluidity, that mobility here in this upper back, upper spine, middle spine. One more breath. And then on the exhale, untwist. Ground your opposite hand down now, right underneath the gaze, and then turn away from that arm, finding evenness in the hips here, and then start to revolve and perhaps reaching the top arm up in space. I like to think about my spine here as one long line. So from tailbone through the crown of my head, even though I'm rotating here, it's still lengthening. Pull the thigh bones back, maybe lift the inner thigh of your leg that you're turned away from. And then slowly untwist. Take one more breath here. And then rising up to stand and turn the toes out. Heels closer to each other so the toes are pointed toward the corners of your mat and you're lowering down into this wide-legged squat, so to speak. So Kalyasana variation here. And then arms drift forward in front of you. Start to crisscross one elbow, I'll say right elbow over left. And same thing, eagle arms here, holding the shoulders or forearms together. Inhale to straighten the legs, lift the elbow, maybe lift the chest and gaze. Exhale, lower the legs or bend the knees to lower yourself down and round the spine here. And then one more like that, elevating, reaching up. Move the elbows up in space and bend the elbows, folding in, bending knees. And then coming back to center here with the spine. One more breath, keeping the legs bent. And then straighten the legs, release the arms, turn the toes forward. Breath in here, reaching up, and exhale to forward fold. Inhale halfway up, and then exhale one more fold here. And then we'll rise up to stand. Inhale, legs are wide, and exhale, palms to the heart. Reaching the arms forward again, crisscross the arms, this time left on top of right, finding your version of eagle. Turning the toes out a few degrees, ankles or heels pointing toward each other a little bit more. Bend the knees here into goddess position or Kalyasana, knees pulling back as you lower the hips down. Now inhale, straighten the legs, lift the chest, lift the elbows, and then exhale, bend the knees, and then start to round the spine, drawing the elbows toward you. Inhale, one more like that, standing tall, reaching elbows up, and then exhale, lowering down, rounding the spine. And then just tipping the spine up, keeping the eagle arms, a bend in the knees for one more breath. And then release the legs, come to stand, and this time finding triangle position here. So turning now one set of toes out, so we'll say the left toes out and pivoting the right toes in. Start to reach with the side body here, and then reaching long, find one hand to that front leg, the other hand to the hip, or turn the chest up here and reach that top arm up. So let's keep the spine long here this time. Rather than side bending, rather than pushing the hips back, draw the hips toward midline, and then keep the spine long. Any arm variation here with that base arm, it could be on a block, if you like a block under your hands. It could be a little bit lower, it could be on the floor, just like mine on my shin sometimes. And then rise up to stand, stretch the arms wide, parallel the feet, and then side two. So turning the toes now off to your right, reaching now with the right arm as you lean side body forward, and then same thing here, triangle pose. So the legs stay relatively straight without locking the front knee. And then rotating the chest, the ribs, up toward the ceiling. Chest bone lifts, finding our balance here in our legs and feet. And one more breath. And then slowly rising up to stand. Reach the arms wide, parallel your feet, and then jump or step your feet together. So let's take things now down to the mat. A little bit of back bend focus here, along with some core strengthening. So from here, let's lower to our abdomen. You can just slowly roll down. And then bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel, or you could bring your palms together. I'll leave that choice up to you. So with the hands pressing down, forearms parallel, or palms pressing together, let's lift the chest and draw the upper shoulders back toward each other, behind you. Let the gaze be easy here. Let the neck be soft. So not stressing the neck here. And then from here, your choice of leaving the knees down or up in this forearm plank, draw the belly away from the floor. So this would be a knee plank here. Or you can lift the thigh bones up. Holding this position, drawing the abdomen in. Maybe chest bone pulls forward. One more. And then lower the knees down, lower the thighs and pelvis back to the starting position here. Open the chest. Couple of breaths. And let's take that through one more time. Curl the toes under, drawing the belly up, lifting the thigh bones, or leaving the knees down. Finding the strength in the center here. One more breath. And then slowly lower yourself down. So from here, we'll take cobra pose. So bringing the palms underneath the elbows or next to the mid-chest. Roll the shoulders back again as you leave the pelvis heavy and lift the chest here. Okay, option to turn and twist. So you would turn the body a little bit and bring your gaze to one side and then come back to center and then turn and twist here. Maybe gazing back toward the opposite side and then back to center. And then we'll take one more child's pose here, just for a breath. And then find your blanket. So this is where we're moving into now a little bit of work in the diaphragm. So we're going to find a diaphragmatic breath, but also a release. So with your blanket or bath towel, you're going to find a little roll. So maybe 1 inch, maybe 2 inches, and make that roll pretty firm, not loosey-goosey, so to speak. So pretty firm, and then you'll set that on your mat. So it's fine if the tail is underneath you or ahead of you. What this roll is going to do, we're going to lay on it with our belly and place the roll just underneath the ribs. So not on the ribs, but just underneath the ribs. And by under, I mean vertically up and down under, but maybe also under the ribs a little. So you'll see what I mean. So go ahead and start to lay down on the blanket, just under the ribs, and see what you think. If you feel like you could use a bit of a bigger roll here, then go ahead and move off the blanket, roll it up maybe one step further. If it's too high, you'll know right away and you can uncurl that. But be willing to adjust the thickness of the roll and also the positioning of the roll. So we are bringing awareness now and attention to the diaphragm. We're also giving the abdominals and the organs of our abdomen in this location a bit of a massage. So we'll stay here for about a minute. Feel free to release the elbows, perhaps laying down the head, or you can just stay here more upright in the chest, allowing the elbows to support you. So making any other adjustments here to make yourself feel very comfortable. Feel free to soften your gaze or close your eyes. And notice the breath now here in this region where the blanket is compressing a little bit, where the diaphragm is moving. So taking a full breath here, inhale, moving the belly into the blanket, and then on your exhale, allow the blanket to move into your abdomen. So it should feel nice and maybe mild. Let it be mild is what I'm trying to say. So there could be a little bit of discomfort. It should be mild. There could be a little bit of pressure. Let it be mild. Could feel good, but just let it all be not very energizing at this point. We're trying to calm ourselves down here. So a few more breaths. Allow the mind to connect to the belly, perhaps even noticing the diaphragm movement. And then we'll take one more breath here. And then slowly lift the hips, move yourself back, and come to sitting on the knees. So for this last release, we're going to be in child's pose with a block or a blanket underneath our forehead, and that's for a reason. When we're in child's pose, we're actually going to do a back of shoulder release stretch. So it'll look like this, crisscross arms on the floor. So let's go ahead and move into that position. You'll be in a child's pose position with the lower body. And then you could fold up your blanket and leave that there for your forehead, or just taking a block, placing it for the head, or you could do a little of both. So from here, start to lower the torso, and as you do, crisscross the elbows, palms facing up, and then if the prop is a little bit further away than you'd like, coming out. And we'll start with left arm on top of right. So allowing the forearms to rest. And if you find that the height is too high, feel free to come out, release, and then make adjustments along the way. And here we are. So left arm on top of right. Allowing the breath now to be steady. Releasing the back of shoulders, the upper back. Staying here for a few more breaths. Noticing the quality of what it feels like to become still. To allow the body to be held here in this position. And then we're just going to move one arm, the next arm on top. So right arm over left. Feel free to lift up and then lower back down. So palms are uplifted. Breath is easy. And noticing the breathing again here in the upper back. Allow the body to feel held in this position. And then slowly, slowly, slowly lift the torso up and remove your block. So taking your blanket here, finding that small roll again. And this time we'll be lying with the small roll right underneath our shoulder blades. So it's not a very high roll here that we're after. Try to make it really nuanced. So the bottom tips of the shoulder blades coming to lying on that part of the blanket now to lift the chest. And then bend the knees, step the feet wide, and draw the knees together so they're resting on each other or nearly there. Arms are passive, so palms up, either arms straight, or you can do that cactus shape again. And then drifting the eyes closed or just softening the gaze. Allow your body to feel nourished. As we come into these practices, bringing awareness to ourselves, to our bodies, and all the communication systems that our bodies use to let us know how we're doing, what's happening on the inside. So you can stay right here with this small elevation on the blanket, or you could lift up nice and gently and unroll the blanket, moving into Shavasana from here. So whatever posture or position you're choosing now, we're coming into Shavasana, the final rest pose. Bringing awareness now to the breath in the chest. And then slowly start to let the breath awareness go. Allowing the back of the body to feel supported. And the front of the body easeful. We're staying here for another minute, so allow the body to really rest. Maybe going deeper into this rest now. Drawing inward a little more. If you have more time and would like to stay here in your rest, please do so. Continue resting. If you're continuing on with me, slowly roll to the right side of your body and take a moment to pause there, lying on the right side. Maybe using your right arm as a pillow. And then in your own time, pressing up back to our seat. And sitting tall again. And let's draw the palms together at heart center. And bowing the head. Let's rub the palms together. And then cover the eyes with your warm palms. Blink your eyes open. Move your hands away from your face. And I thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and that this practice brought a sense of freedom and renewal for you. See you soon.